So this is Niagara Falls International, and last time we did take our just watch the Niagara Falls a little bit and so on. We are going to go again actually today and just just have a look because I think it's nice to do that. Last time when we checked, there were like clouds and stuff, and now look at this. The weather is. Look at this. The weather is nice. It is. So just going to do the pushback thing. Before we start. Yeah, and as usual, it looks good. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah, so I think that will do.
TOS system test. Okay. Oral warning. Okay.
Yeah, that looks good, and as I said, the weather is just beautiful. I think the temperature looks good as well, so we're not going to do anything with the heat. We're just going to turn up the temperature a little bit and turn out some fan, because it's nice. And then we are going to go here and let me just all on because they are nice. And I was thinking of something. Yeah, minimums. Let's just put 200. I'm not really on barrel. Yes. Alright, I think we are almost set. Let me just... Let me just pull a dog out of here. There we go. And we're going to set the wind at option 3. The wind at option 3 is that one. I like that one. It's nice. Alright, and I think we should have the GPS. There we go. We can't really see the... GPS. I mean, it's on this airplane it's been bugging me for weeks actually, and I tried to not reload the flight plan just to do it manually, and it happens anyway. So I don't know. I don't care. I'm good. Alright, so let's go with the 80s on 2 and ground on 1. just checking the altimeter. 29.98. That's good. Sorry. All right. So we are going to do. Just when we start, we're going to go to the west and take a look at the Niagara Falls here, because it's beautiful, simply put. So we are going to depart west, and then we're going.
56112 tree with Oscar request taxi to the active west departure.
Sahag 56112 tree taxi to and hold short of runway 28 right using taxiway Alpha Alpha tree cross runway 24 Delta 1. Contact tower on 118.5 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 28 right via taxiway Alpha Alpha tree cross runway 24 Delta 1 Zahak 56112 tree.
Yeah, so we are just going to taxi down to this one and cross runway 24. I mean, can't we just go like down here? Yeah, I think so. That's what we are going to do anyway. Yeah. Wrong button. There we go. Yeah, so we're just going to follow this this taxiway to the end of 28R, and then we're going to go. Is that the bus we are meeting? Or is just standing there? Oh yeah, of course it is. Let's take the turn a little bit wider. So obviously we're not going to use the entire runway, but I don't see why we should. I mean, we are quite a small plane, so.
Niagara Tower is a Hawk 8 56112 tree at runway 28 right, ready for takeoff departure to the west.
The Hawk 8 56112 tree cleared for takeoff runway 28 right west. Departure approved.
Thank you very much.
Cleared for takeoff runway 28 right, Hawk 8 56112 tree.
Yeah, it looks all clear as well. This is good. We are about to take off, gentlemen. And women. Gentlewomen. Ladies. Yeah, that's the word. Of course it is. Ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're really going sideways today. And rotate. No. Okay. Ah, come on. What the? Okay, that's interesting. So we apparently we have some quite rough side wind, feels like. It's strange. Alright.
56112 tree, continue for west departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace.
Niagara Tower is a Hawk 8 56112 tree, continue for west departure.
Yes, we're not going to go much higher actually, because we are going to go past the Niagara Falls, the Rainbow Bridge, and then we're going to go past the falls and head for the Horseshoe Fall. So I think this will do just fine. Let me zoom out a little bit. Come on. These little knobs are so hard to hit. And we go back. There we go. So here we have the little...
The Hawk 8 56112 tree, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change.
Niagara Tower is a Hawk 8 56112 tree, frequency change.
Yeah, look at that. This is really beautiful. I mean, there are some things there, obviously, that's not correct, but I think we can live with that. Yeah, and yeah, I already brought up the flaps and so on. So there we have the Rainbow Bridge, a really beautiful bridge. And if I recall correctly, this is Canada and that's US or something. It's split. And down there we have Niagara Falls, the first fall, or depending on where you see, of course. And just hold on, yeah, there you can see the beginning of the Horseshoe Fall. That's quite beautiful, actually. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Real nice. All right. Let's gain some altitude. Yeah. I think the level of the water is a bit buggy at that. It looks really like odd at some places. Alright, so now we are heading for New York. Or actually, we're in New York already, but we are heading for New York City. Let's see if I can trim this up. Yeah, good. And it's really like one beautiful river here. Look at that. Really nice. I see the let me bring down the airplane a little bit so it's not that noisy for you. Maybe something like that, or perhaps even further actually. There we go. Something like that. Yeah. Now hopefully you can hear the engine just a little bit. And you hear my beautiful voice all the way. Yeah, so this is a really pretty place, I have to say. I think the houses down there, that must be awesome to live. It's really nice. I think we should be heading, maybe I should use let's start that one. So we should be heading 133 degrees ish, I say. And it should be yeah, it should take a little bit more than 1 hour to get to the Statue of Liberty, which actually gives us plenty of time to have a cake and or some fika, and we can actually talk. I have prepared a few fun facts about New York, New York City, that is. Because as I said, we are already in New York. All right, so I think I'm going to let's bring on the flight director. Hello, and altitude. I think we can keep it just a little bit, something like 2000 perhaps. That's nice. Vertical speed. Oh. There we go, and we're going to use the navigation because it's set to the GPS. Yada yada. Autopilot. There we go. And yeah, we're going to do quite the turn. Meanwhile, we can really enjoy this like beautiful landscape. If I recall correctly, this is Buffalo. I haven't really prepared anything to say about Buffalo because I was expecting to be just a little bit north of it, but still, I think it's, as I said, beautiful. Quite a large city. Of course, it depends a little bit about what you compare it with, but compared to, I guess, most Swedish cities at least, it's quite large. That's really nice. This is the good part of using autopilot, because I'm horrible at flying in this like in this angle. I simply can't do it. It looks so much better watching the view from here. Even if you jump up a little bit, then yeah. yeah, so we have some time now. Per usual, have prepared coffee in front of it. Today it's a special Harry Potter cup. Yeah, I solemnly swear to do. I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. And for some sweets, today we have classic cocoa caramel, dark chocolate. Can't speak. Dark chocolate filled with creamy cocoa caramel by Anton Berg. Yeah, look at that. Tasty. Tasty but dry, I have to say. So I mean, if we look at the map now, let me show you. There we go. So we are heading. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Oh, wrong way. Zoom it in. Yeah, that's how much we can zoom out. So I mean, we are obviously heading for New York, which is down here. Down. It's quite hard with this mouse. I'm controlling a mouse pad with or touchscreen with my mouse. It's really hard. Down here it is. And let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I mean you can basically see the pointers, but you have the Statue of Liberty just below here. It's really jumping back and forth. And then we have the Governor Island, which is basically next to the Statue of Liberty. And then we go up. Let's see if I can zoom in this a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, so here you can see everything. And then we go up, we watch the Brooklyn Bridge, and we go up the Manhattan, watch the center of New York, which is quite beautiful. I've been there, I've been flying there. It was actually... When I got the Microsoft Flight Simulator, I mean, it's almost a year ago, I think, now, or, yeah. Anyway, I went to New York, but I think there was the, like, first or second place where I went. I think first place I went was to fly from airport nearby and watch my own house. And the second thing that I went was, like, New York City. And I thought that's going to be beautiful. And actually, the city itself was quite impressive, actually. To just watch the city, and you have the tall buildings and stuff. That was really impressive. What was not impressive was when you got close to the Statue of Liberty and when you saw Governor Island and all that things. That was really not impressive, actually. But I think since they updated the America, that's of course fixed. So now they are beautiful, both of them. We're not going to try. No, we're not going to try that today. But when the game was all new, I tried to go under Brooklyn Bridge because it's quite. The bridge is actually quite tall, so I had a slow aircraft, a small one as well. So I thought, yeah, I could definitely go under it, and yeah, you crash into nothing basically, but you crash. or at least you used to do before the update. I mean, maybe they changed something, but when you look at the bridges and stuff, it almost looks like the entire bridge is like a construction that is. Yeah, I think the how should I put it? The game's interpretation of the structure is probably more solid than what you see. That's at least how I think it is. But I think I'm going to try that out, not today, but later. I think that could be actually be quite funny to just see, yeah, how those things are working out now. If you can grab like a fun airplane, and we are going way above where I was thinking. Hello. Why are we up here? Are we following a GPS? What's our heading? 143? 133? That should be alright, I think. Why are we so high? Why is it... No, okay. So it's keeping the altitude now, at least. That's good. Okay. So I wanted to be at about 2,000 feet. That was my target. Alright, let's go down. I'm just babbling. Maybe I should pay more attention to where we are at. Alright, so let's zoom out. I think that's enough. That's enough about where we are going right at the moment. So let's see. We are... Okay, so I can't zoom out more. Okay, let's zoom in. Oh well. Shit happens as usual. Alright, so we're good. I mean, the graphics of this game, even if I don't have the computer to run at like top settings and stuff, but I mean, still, even if I can't do that, it's still beautiful. Which is kind of cool. Alright, so I think the river and the forest ahead of us, I think that's Letchworth State Park. Letchworth State Park, perhaps. I'm not really sure of how to pronounce it actually, but it's a really special and beautiful park. You can see, I mean, it's... You see down to the right? Yeah, that part. That looks awesome, really. A lot of green water up there. Alright, so some fun facts about Letchworth State Park. You know what? If I'm pronouncing this wrong, let me know in the comments because I have absolutely no clue. Anyway, it was voted the best attraction in New York State 2017. And looking at it, I can certainly understand why, because that looks really, really beautiful. And I mean, if you watch the photos from the place, that's even better, I think. Aren't we going a little bit low? Do we have a altitude? Okay, maybe we should. Let's. Come on, let me click on it. No, right there we go. 2,300. I think we should. I think we should perhaps even increase the altitude a little, just a little bit. Hello. Yeah, just make sure that we don't cut the treetops too much. It is, of course, beautiful to fly low. I mean, it really is. But yeah, I guess the farmers around would be more pleased if we don't go too low. So the weather is actually really nice. Like it a lot. I guess this city could be Dansville. But that's more or less an educated guess, actually. There are actually some hills here. I think we'll disengage the autopilot for now. There's a little bit turbulence here. Yeah, so look at that place. Nice. Yeah, so we're going to increase our altitude just a little bit. I see some wind turbines up front. There's no one in front of us just now, though. We're going really low here. Alright, let me pull up a little bit. Yeah, the little tree of wind turbines. So there are actually a lot of space here around where they could have like wind turbines if they wanted to. Engage the autopilot again. Yeah, as I said, I think there are a lot of places where they could have had like wind turbines, and if they just wanted to, that is. So even up here, it's still about 8 to 9 degrees. That's nice. Don't crash into the windmill. No, I'm trying to not do that. Windmill is a funny word. So let's try to figure out what this phrase is from. So wind is obviously like wind in English as well, and then mölla is like a local word in Skåne for mill. Usually in like common Sweden you say like kvarn instead of mölla. So yeah, that's like a windmill, which is of course wrong if you say it in English, because you usually say like wind turbine, but in Swedish that's fine. In Sweden you say windmill, basically. Wind. Yeah, something like that. It's too many things to mix up. English, skånska, svenska, too much. Actually, we say vindkraftverk, which is wind power plant, basically. If you translate it very direct. I mean, look at that. Those hills. I think it's so beautiful. Like everything here. Really like it. No, pepparmölla does not work. True. What do you even say in English for that? Grinder? Like if you have pepper and you pull this to get like you have the complete like pepper things, black, round, and you start to pull it around, and then you get like a nice seasoning on your food. If you're a decent chef, of course. Could also ruin your food if you have not if you bring too much or too little. Alright, so next up, peppermill. Is that really correct? Yeah. Anyway, so next up we have marzipan bar. Marzipan coated with dark chocolate. This little fella. See if we can get... Oh, it keeps the focus on me. Which is kind of nice, I guess. Have a little patience. Oh, that's a little bit too much. Somewhere around there, I think. Yeah, I think that's okay. So Google is king. Yeah, sure. You did you find peppermill on Google? Is that correct phrase? Peppermill. See. I'm not really sure though. I mean, peppermill. Yeah, that seems. Or perhaps, yeah, of course. Best peppermill 2021. Reviews by Wirecutter. That's a lot of peppermills. I actually have a Peugeot peppermill. That's really nice. The only downside is that you have to have French-sized peppercorn. Peppercorn? Is that the way? Yeah. So if you buy like the normal Swedish pepper, then it doesn't work because they are too big. Alright, so I think we are approaching horse heads. There's so funny names here. Pepper grind is also a thing, but it grinds bigger chunks, I think. Oh yeah, makes sense. But on my pepper grind, you can actually set how fine to grind the pepper. But yeah, I think there are quite funny names actually here because. So you have a Big Flats Airport, and then you have Horseheads, like the city is called Horseheads. Looks like a quite nice place though. Yeah, so Horseheads, New York is actually a quite small town. About 20,000 living there, something like that. This is actually a long time ago, like yeah, what is it? Something like 250 years ago, something. George Washington actually ordered the forces of General John Sullivan to march north, where they ended up near like this Horsehead place, where they fought the Native Americans. Yeah, and they did succeed in like the war, or what to say, but on the return they had too little food with them, so they had to actually stop. And they had too little food for their horses, which, yeah, so they had to stop and they had to actually kill a lot of horses so they could proceed to like return. Hence horse head, I guess. Yeah, and about 10 years later, the first settlers settled in like Horsehead. Flying food and fika. Well, be careful with the kitchen, yo. Yeah, so fika is a tradition worth keeping. That's something that you need. If you you know you can do it a little bit like the old-fashioned way, and you eat like 2 or 3 times a day, like big meals. But what is considered more like better for your body, you should eat like 5 times a day, and you should have like 2 or more minor meals. So I think fika then is quite a good option. Maybe not like the healthiest, because usually when you eat fika it's more something sweet or salty. But at least you can keep many more different, what's to say, yeah, different meals. Alright, so we still have a lot of time before New York, or we have about half an hour before we reach New York City. But I think I'm going to just pull some facts about New York City, or New York in general. Mostly New York City, I think. So for starters, there's about 8 million people living in New York City. That's 1 on every 38 American lives in New York City. That's quite amazing. And just to compare, if you look like, if you compare with something like Sweden, then I mean now the number of Swedes have increased a little bit, but basically you could actually just like. You could basically fit entire Sweden in New York City if you look at the population. We have, I think, 1-2 million people more now, but yeah, we could probably fit. That's fine. Speaking of like different nationalities, in New York, there are more than 800 languages. It's the city with the most diverse language pool in like the world. And actually 4 out of 10 households speak something else than English. That's quite amazing. Another funny thing. So you know, there's a street. There is this street in New York called Pearl Street. So in the 19th century, oysters were so popular in in New York, so they actually had enough shells to pave Pearl Street, and they used the lime for masonry for building Trinity Church. I mean, how many oysters can you eat? Oysters have never been really like the go-to food for me, at least. I guess I've eaten it. If you have a strong enough sauce, then I think it's good. But it's not really my thing. Yeah. Statue of Liberty. Did you know that was a gift from France? Given to the United States in 1886. They shipped it in 350 pieces, and it took 4 months to assemble on Ellis Island. I tell you this, Knowing French military, I think it was meant to be a Trojan horse, but somewhere it fell apart and they didn't really think of that they had to put it in pieces to get there. So in New York, they had the New York Federal Reserve Bank. And that bank is quite famous for a special thing. It's the single place with the most gold in the world. 80 feet under like street level, they have gold worth 90 billion US dollars, which is more than any other place on Earth. Or at least that we know of. Moving on for more amazing stuff or nerdy facts that some call them. So New York, the public library, they have 50 million books. It is the third largest library in the world, and what's is kind of more amazing is that it's only the second largest in the US, which means that they have another one that's even bigger, or at least contains more books. Among the more like common or boring things, United Nations, they established their headquarters in New York City 1952, right after the World War II, or actually a couple of years after, I guess. Alright, so let's have a look. What do we have out here? We have beautiful nature on the countryside. Some... Looking at that, there should be a cloud above us there. That's funny. There are no clouds above, but yeah. So I think if they were to like release a new version of Microsoft Flight Simulator in perhaps a year or 2 years or something, I mean they are currently releasing different map updates for different areas, which I think is great, and they updated the US I think it was November or December last year. So this whole area is actually much better now than it was at the release, or especially I guess if you go into like New York City or some other place. But the thing that I think is kind of missing a little bit, I mean it's nothing that when you play the game the first time you're so amazed with everything and that you can see the world in such a, I mean it's so large and amazing, and all the structures, I mean they're not like perfect, but they are kind of good enough for most places. But once you have played it for a while, you start to recognize like different things, like those different like clouded areas that suddenly appear from like nowhere, as the one that we passed from over there. And yeah, I think also like the different houses, even if they have like support for different structures and stuff, after a while it's kind of getting repetitive. And now when we're sitting inside and we watch that part, for instance, it looks a little bit flat. So I think, amazing as it is, because it's really amazing, I think that this game is probably I think it's the best game released last year. Probably going to be the best one this year as well. I think so. I honestly do. But I still see so many things that you could improve even further in like the future. I think it's yeah, it's going to be so interesting to follow, and I really hope that they just continue to like evolve the game, that they don't just, here you have the game, now let's focus on something. No, I hope they will continue to focus and develop the game, and then perhaps you can buy updates or something. Maybe they can get money for that. I'm not sure. They have this like marketplace, which is I think they're planning for that to be like the major income, that people buy things from like third party and they get a share of it. If they get that rolling with enough users, then that will probably be more than enough that they need. But yeah, I think that I hope that they are going to like continue developing the game to make it even better. Of course, remove the bugs, yeah, for sure. I mean, some people are more annoyed with some bugs than I was actually reading in forum in the Flight Simulator forum just I think the other day, and or maybe it was Twitter. It doesn't really matter, but they were like, "Oh, we fixed this bug," and I think it was the first or the second reply. Someone was like, "Yeah, but what about this?" And he was complaining about some speedometer that was showing the levels. It was 10 knots when it should be 20 knots, and I was like, who cares? I mean, if let's see this one. Let's say that the real plane have like 20 knots between every level. Yeah, it's not that important to me, honestly. But on the other hand, if you really are after that kind of realism, then I guess, yeah, it is important. For me, I'm just, so far at least, I'm just happy with the like mechanics of the game, the ability to explore everything, the beauty of the game, because it is actually beautiful. And I think with a better computer than I have, then it's really amazing. But with that said, as I said before, I see room for improvements. I really do. And of course, I think some parts may, of course, be better just using a better computer. Sure, but still, yeah. All right, so let's continue with the New York City fun facts, or geeky facts, or whatever you want to call them. So, pizzeria. And that's actually an English word. I checked it up because it's basically the same word in Swedish. So I was like, can you actually say that? I used this like web service that kind of pronounces the word. A tip I got from some dude when doing voiceovers. If you're like hesitant about the word, how you pronounce it, check it out on this page. And it's quite amazing. So pizzeria is actually a thing. Hope you're not raiding the kitchen again. But pizzeria, so yeah, the first pizzeria was opened in New York City 1895. And it basically shaped the town, I guess. If you ignore the Big Apple thing, then yeah, pizza is what you want. And since 1960s, a slice of pizza have cost about, roughly, about the same as a subway ticket, which some economics call the pizza principle. So I have no clue of how much a subway ride is cost in like New York, and I have actually no clue of how much the slice of pizza costs, of course, but they cost basically the same. Moving on. So if you look at the borough of Brooklyn, if you isolated that into its own city, okay, if you don't know, it's part of New York, Brooklyn, yeah, famous. So if you isolate it and if you would like call it its own city, then that's kind of annoying. I thought that little dark thing, I thought it was dirt on my screen when I was looking like in this angle. You see it, just that. I thought it was dirt on my screen. I tried to wipe the screen off. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so the Brooklyn borough, if you isolated it and call it like this is a city, then it would still be the 4th largest city in United States of America. That's how big it is, and it's only a part of New York. And Queens, another part of New York, is actually as big. I mean, it's not exactly as big as Brooklyn, of course, but if you isolated Queens, it would still be the 4th largest city in the USA. So 2 parts of New York City, if you isolated them from New York City, it would still be like 4th largest. That tells a lot about how big New York City actually is. Where are we? We are... Alright. I'm a little bit... Okay, so we are... I'm trying to find it. Is it possible that we just passed Scranton or something? Let's see. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Could be something completely different as well, I guess. Let's zoom in a little bit. Shall we? Alright. So that's... I have Google Maps here. I can compare. Maybe I can't actually. Oh yeah. Let's not get too excited about that. So I think that a little bit larger water up front, that one. I think that's Lake Wallenpapa. Wallenpapa? That I didn't check in the word pronunciation thingy. So it might be completely wrong. Might be. Meanwhile, Times Square, New York. As you might have thought, it was named after New York Times that moved there in 1904. And 1785, you know what happened at 1785? New York City. 1785, New York City became the first national capital in United States. Not every country can say something like that, especially not if they are like just about 200 years old, 300 years old. I think if we look like the history of Sweden, it's... What is it? Like Sweden is like 800 years old or something? Is that possible? I have to check it out. But I think Stockholm has been the capital basically all the time. I have to check it. Google! Yeah, so Sweden is a country, yeah. We did know that. Yeah, something like 800 years is like the unified Swedish kingdom. Good, I know my history. Or some parts of it at least, that's good. Then of course Sweden has been part of like Kalmar Union, Swedish Norwegian Union, blah blah blah. Let's check out Stockholm. What about Stockholm? Swedish national city, capital city. Blah. So Stockholm is almost the size of New York. I mean, New York is about 8 million people lives there, New York City, and yeah, Stockholm is about 1 million, 1.6 if you draw like the outer lines, almost the same size. Yeah, so I mean, Stockholm is obviously really old. It's actually quite late. I mean, if you see Sweden like a nation that's about 800 years old, and I mean Stockholm has only been the capital for like 400 of them. Still older than the entire United States, though. And Stockholm has the famous or infamous, I guess, Stockholm bloodbath. But let's not hang up that. We're not here to talk about Sweden and Stockholm. We're here to talk about New York. And we will arrive in New York in about 10 minutes. That's a pretty good time, I say. Let's see if we are heading in the right direction. And we are. I mean, 10 minutes. That's good. So 10 minutes to just mention the few final geeky stuff that's left. And here we go. So, there live more Chinese people in New York than in any other city outside Asia. And there actually there are more Jewish people living in New York than in any other city outside Israel. Which, I mean, just the diversity of New York is really impressive. It's like, as I said before, there's 800 languages spoken in New York. It's that's simply something else. I actually haven't been in New York, and I think no. I want to go there someday. Maybe perhaps when all the COVID has gone down a little bit. And obviously when my kid grew up a little bit. So the nature here is really beautiful, as I said before. I can't let it go. I mean, just look at it. That's a nice ridge. Some water. A lot of wood. Yes, I think that was the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Park? Recreation area, of course. Yeah. I think that was one that we passed just now. Which means that we are actually getting real close to New York City. So in a close proximity, there are a lot of like small towns: Dover, Ledgewood, Wharton, Rockaway, Denville, Mount Arlington. Lots and lots of small towns. That's a fast plane. Can we see it? It's way above us. Look at that. You can just see the dots of it. That's probably an airliner. I'm a little bit curious about that area in front of us. I think that's the like Minisink country, Minisink County Park or something like that. Opachong. Opachong is. That should be the city just or town just in front of us, I guess. Someone's probably just going to sue me for bad pronunciation. Yeah, that's nice. So the GPS says that it's about 5 minutes left, which means that obviously we did something wrong at the beginning, because it should have taken like 63 minutes, and that's 2 more minutes than it should take. 2 more minutes! In 2 minutes, you can make a cup of coffee. You can eat chocolate. Look at that, that's plane down there. Is he? Where is he going? Let's disable the autopilot. Oh, is it a helicopter? I'm so curious right now. It's going real low. This can end up in disaster, I guess. Ah, that's the land. Oh yeah. That dude is probably like, "Who? What are you doing?" Yeah, he's going to land, of course. That's nice. Right, let's get back on track. And I guess the FPS is on my computer is really struggling in this area, so I guess there is a risk. Whoa. Oh, that could be interesting. I managed to click the wrong button, so deploy the flaps instead of trimming the airplane. Hope they didn't take damage. Right, let's get let's go on with the autopilot again, and we'll do the vertical speed, and let's bring that up to like 900. I think we can make that. Is that New York that we can see all the way from here? Yeah, it could be. It definitely could be. Let's do the. Yeah, we can keep our altitude. Yeah, that's definitely New York. We are getting closer. I think we'll zoom in a little bit, something like that on the map. That's good. So you can actually see quite tall building from way here. Assuming that it's not a bug in it happens that you get this like bug where you get a spike up from the ground. It's a little bit funny that it's so isolated. As far as I can recall, there's no one place in New York that's such high and isolated from the rest of New York. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to New York City! Yeah, look at this. This is yeah, not that big. Very big. Right, let's disconnect and slow down a little bit. Here we have Newark first. Yes. Look at that. Look at the roads. They're just gone crazy here. But they look a little bit too solid, or what should I say? Alright. So first out is the Statue of Liberty. I'm going to start to slow down a little bit. I'm going to remove the flight director. It's annoying. And I think I'm going to disable the yaw damper as well. Pause, reset, remove. When I went past this place last time, I can't really remember the bridges looking like that. Hello, game. Okay. That I'm not going to try and fly underneath any one of those bridges, I think. On our left we have the Statue of Liberty. And we are going to get closer, so just hang on a little bit. And I think we're going to try and keep like somewhere around 180 knots perhaps. Maybe we should do the like really low passing. And just in front of us we have the Governor Island. But first, let's see if we can. Yeah, this is going to get this is going to be beautiful. Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Nice. And then, oh, let's not get too low. Governor Island. That is a whole lot of more details than when they actually released the game. I'll tell you that. That's huge difference. Next up we have the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, maybe I should see where we fly so we don't hit the building because they're quite tall. And I can't see them on the like small map, and I'm pointing at my screen and you can't see it. Here you have the Brooklyn Bridge. I think that's the first one, that is Brooklyn Bridge. They look much more detailed than when I tried flying here last time. So maybe it's possible to go underneath them and Yeah, let's head inside. Here we have the... Sorry. Here we have the Manhattan. Yeah, look at that. Really, really beautiful. Now I'm just going to up in a little bit here. We're going to fly past the Empire State Building. Nice. Really beautiful. Yeah, there's so much more details now after the update. That was a bummer. Yeah, and you have the park. Now, right. There you go. I think to have a city that's this big and to have like a nice park in the middle, that's just beautiful. I did say it about Chicago. They also have a park in the middle of the city. Beautiful, really beautiful. Love that idea. Every city should have a decent sized park. Yeah, that's nice. Alright, so let's turn here to the right. So did you know that New York City has like a really old heating system, centralized heating system? So they have a few really large like heating power plants, whatever you should call it, and they have this like huge pipes in the ground where they pump like heated water. But more like steam, and they pump this steam into the houses to like bring heat to radiators and stuff. They showed it on TV a while ago, just because it's quite an amazing system. This system was created in like late 1800s something. So it's more than 100 years old. It's more like 150 years old. It's basically keeping entire New York City, or at least the central parts, warm. But because they are using steam, if the pipes are leaking, then it can get really dangerous because they can actually explode. Which, of course, you don't want to do. Want it to explode. You don't. Which I guess makes sense. So yeah, I think I'm going to use the heading, the altimeter, autopilot, and flight director. There we go. And we're going to increase our altitude. Altitude a little bit. Come on, give me. There we go. And we're going to use I like using vertical speed. I think that's a good idea. Alright, so now we are going to just keep this for a moment, and I'm going to call JF Kennedy International Tower and 80s. We're going to request full stop landing.
Hawkgate 56112 tree is 14 miles northwest with Sierra to land.
The Hawkgate 56112 tree Kennedy Tower. Make straight in runway 1 tree right. Altimeter tree 0 decimal tree wind 154 at 17.
Make straight in runway 1 tree right, so Hawkgate 56112 tree.
The Hawkgate 56112 tree cleared to land runway 1 tree right. Wind 154 at 17.
That was fast.
Cleared to land runway 1 tree right, so Hawkgate 56112 tree.
So it's going to take a little bit longer for me to do all the stuff that I need to do. Yep. Approach. Hello? Of course. Arrival, blah blah blah. Runway. I'm not hitting anything, right? A11. Road approach. Do we have ILS on 13R? No. We have VOR on 13R. Okay. We can live with that. Activate approach. What did it just do? Okay, that's funny. I'm going to change that to that one, I think. Right, let's do the navigation system, and it should turn us to the left. Would be more fun to use the ILS system though. Yes, we could. Nah, we're good. We will do this. That's fine. So now I just roughly and quickly. Oh, my ears. I just roughly and quickly set up to use the navigation system VOR to land on 13R. You can see the route it's going to take us. I can zoom out a little bit so you can see it. That's nice. So it's just going to take us this route, and then we're going to manually bring it down the last part, and that's fine. I could have requested an ILS landing, of course, but yeah, that's okay. It's just nice so to not have to do all the fast thing. If we look at this one, and never mind that's broken as usual. I can't do anything about it. But yeah, if we could do like this one. Let's see. There we go. Something like that, and we zoom in quite a lot. That looks odd. Okay. So what was it? 13R? Let's change this one to 130. Right, so it should be the right one right there, I think. Or am I? Ah, it's so small. Why is it taking... Isn't this a bit... That line can't be right. So I think we will be turning to the right soon. Or where are we going? Hello, plane. This is interesting. Yeah, this is really interesting. You know what? I'm going to disable autopilot, and we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, completely manual, and we're going to just remove the flight director and the yaw, the damper off. Flaps 1. So it should be that one, shouldn't it? Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I should have checked this one out before, but never mind that. Right, this is not the guide for how to land an aircraft, so let's live with it. This is not how I recommend you to land, but I think we'll be fine. Perhaps. Just...
Kennedy Tower Zahawk 856112 tree is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Zahawk 856112 tree airport is 10 o'clock, 4 miles.
Yes, we're coming in a little bit sideways, but that's okay, I guess. This should be the one, I think. Otherwise we would get a really angry tower talking to us, so that's good. Did bring out the landing gear, didn't I? Yeah, we did.
Zahawk 856112 tree exit runway when able.
Thank you. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so we know what the layout is. And we're actually going, yeah. It's really Pulling to right.
Sahagate 56112 tree, turn next taxiway.
Yes, sir.
Sahagate 56112
Oh, come on,
tree,
brakes, brakes,
contact
brakes,
ground
brakes.
121.65.
Thank you.
Going to 121.65 Sahagate 56112 tree. 121.65 Sahagate 56112 tree.
This is going to be interesting.
Ground Sahagate 56112 tree, request taxi to parking.
Sahagate 56112 tree, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Mike Charlie Papa Bravo Lima Alpha Golf.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Mike Charlie Papa Bravo Lima Alpha Golf Sahagate 56112 tree.
Just a minute. I'm just going to bring up the map. I'm using Sky Vector on my iPad. So it's let's see. MC. Yes, we are 13R and we are at MC. So we are going to MC P B L A E. So if we zoom in at this one a little bit, just to show you where we are going. So right now we are at MC. So basically what they want us to do is to move to the inner line. That's the A line. We're going to follow it around to the third. Let's see if we can get to one. Yeah. To the third kind of middle exit here, which is called G. And so I assume that we are going to turn and here, where I have, like here is the one. So we're going to go up here. We're going to follow this one all the way around. All the way around. Then we're going to turn in and park somewhere here, I guess. Interesting. This is the first time I have a map to actually show where we are going. But I think that's, I mean, when you are doing this big airport, then it's more or less required, or you will get pretty lost, I guess. Yeah, so now we are going the A runway, not runway, but taxiway. So we're going to follow this one for quite some time now. And you can see, or can't see because I don't have enough frames per second perhaps, but yeah. We're just following this run taxiway. This is quite large airport. Oh, sorry, this one. It's not easy following in third person. I mean, I have a theory of where we are going, so this is much better than when we landed at O'Hare a couple of, I think it was not the last stream when we flew. I mean, we were going to Niagara Falls, but the one before that, when we went from, can't really remember where we went from in that time, but still went to O'Hare at least. And when I was landing and I started to taxi, I had no clue, and I had to use the like a guiding system to get somewhere. So I mean, this is progress, right? So I think this is our cue for turning left, and they made this taxiway for like a really huge airplane, so I don't think I have to brake down too much to make it a turn. Exactly. I mean, I'm pretty much doing it in pretty fast, I'd say. So this is the first one. It's this is HB. Next one is H. Let's just nah, never mind. I was thinking about looking at the sign just to confirm, but yeah, it should be. It's possible if that I'm wrong, but then obviously I can't read a map, which I seriously hope that I can. And this looks alright. We have like a small aircraft there. So let's just break down a little bit. Let's make sure that we are going correct. That's G. Woohoo! We are coming to the right place. Then of course maybe we should go right instead of left, but to the right there's no like parking space or whatever, so I think we are going left. The only thing that I think is a little bit odd here is that we don't have like a real turning point, which I would like. So this is the more like general aviation area. I guess we are going to the right, and you see we have a lot of people there. So yeah, let's head for that one. And the other planes are standing in this direction, so I think this is going to be fine. Except that they are standing with their backs towards us. But I mean, look at all of them. They are standing like... How on earth do you... Yeah, this is strange. But we'll deal with it. No worries. I think this is a little bit backwards. I can't really see why we supposed to be pointing in that direction, but that's fine. I really would like a set of pedals now. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes and viewers on... No, don't really think that. Sure, I want to be famous, but I don't want to buy visitors. That's not how we roll. Yes, I think... Oh, come on. Oh, that's so close. No, it's not, actually. Alright. Lou Baseball 2690. Buy followers. You gain the timeout. How do I get back to chat now? We go. Don't want any spam commercial here. All right, so let's shut it down. Actually, we'll just go down and we'll set that to off. That's probably not how the shutdown procedure is recommended, but that's fine. Now we'll turn off. Yeah. 1 hour 26 minutes. That's not too bad actually. That's about what I planned. Yeah. That's it for today. Bye.